And now for our feature presentation.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
JB and Darren on the JB and Goldwater Show.
Line drive right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow.
He got him, and it's all over. Coastal Carolina rules the roost. They win the championship. And South Carolina has won the national championship.
The Whittier baseball team has done it again, but this time the Bulldogs beat one of the top teams in the country. They are giant killers. Get the ball to Bennett. He does.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
Well, hey, Darren. Greetings and a good Black Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard the JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online, and very proudly presented by Motley Rice, causes not just cases, MotleyRice.com. Driven by Stokes Volkswagen. You can find them at StokesVW.com for your next and end-of-year ride, and you can find us at JBandGoldwaterShow.com as well as the JB and Goldwater app. Across all social media platforms at JB and Goldwater, individually at Sports Media JB and at Darren Goldwater. The Share Healthcare chat lines are up and open and ready to go. And yes, it is 10 a.m. If you're scrolling through social media and you see us, we know we're 2 hours early. Darren is on the road. He's in Florida, and it is Rivalry weekend in addition to Thanksgiving weekend, of course. We hope you all had a beautiful and wonderful Thanksgiving yesterday with your family and with your friends. Now, on to football. Friday's a great day for it. College football will play all day. There's some wonderful games to check into, which we'll certainly get to here in just a little bit. And then tomorrow, it's the big day, of course, headlined by what headlines our show? Clemson and South Carolina, the 118th meeting of the Palmetto Bowl inside of Williams-Brice Stadium tomorrow night. We've got Raphael Esparza coming up at 10:30 with MyBookie.ag. He's going to break down all of the betting stuff for college football this weekend for you. And then at 11, the Big Gamecock Preview Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice, will be here for another hour. JC Shurburtt right off the rip. Michael Flint will finish it. And in between, Patrick Davis will join us for a few minutes to preview tonight's Toys for Tots show in Columbia, for those of you interested in attending that if you're going to be in the Midlands for the big game. But before we get to all that and before we get to our 2-minute drill, Darren, I hope you and Grayson, who I just saw pop into the camera there, and Heather and all of your family, I hope y'all have had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, buddy.
Hope you guys have had a hell of a Thanksgiving as well. I mean, that's what it's all about. You might hear or see a lot of different things from my side today. You could hear a dog whining because he's old and blind and deaf, and when he gets treats, he gnaws on these marrow bones and whines like a 1-year-old kid. There's also a 1-year-old kid who could be whining like a 1-year-old kid, and then whoever else might be talking. So I don't know what you're going to hear today, but we're here. We're in Florida. We are right about a couple of miles from where a lot of teams have their spring training down in Sarasota, and we're pumped for Rivalry Week. So here we go.
Yeah, here we go. No doubt about it. It was a beautiful Thanksgiving yesterday here in the Low Country. I know that, and I ate so much I can't even explain it. I was that guy yesterday, Darren, where everybody brings a dish, and generally, you try to get your meat in 3 or something on Thanksgiving. I got both meats and every side. I got it all, and got all the desserts as well. So we are full and ready to go. I'll hit the road for Columbia today, so I'll be on the road as well. And look forward to seeing PD tonight and of course, tomorrow, Clemson and South Carolina. It is a lot to get to over the next couple of hours, so let's get right to it. The 2-minute drill, of course, always leads us off on Friday afternoons here on our program. And let's start with the high school kids, because tonight's a good night for it. High school football in the state of South Carolina. The upper state championship game at the 5A level with Spartanburg and Gaffney in Spartanburg. Dutch Forks down here against Fort Dorchester in North Charleston. If you're going to that one, should be a dandy. At the 4A level, Greenville and South Point at South Point tonight at 7:30. And the 4A level, will host West Florence. 3A, Chester hosting Daniel and Camden, the home of Patrick Davis. Maybe you'll give him a shout out tonight at his concert. They'll host Dillon. That's going to be a really good football game. At the 2A level, Gray Collegiate Academy is at Newberry, and Silver Bluff is at Barnwell. All of them looking for more state championships on their rosters. And at the Class A level, Southside Christian is at Lamar, and C.E. Murray is at Bamberg Earhart. That's going to be a lot of fun there as well. Coastal Carolina is at South Alabama today at 3:30 on ESPN+. If you want to check out the Chanticleers, they, of course, are not the only program in the state playing, because the two biggest ones go tomorrow night at 7:30 on the SEC Network in the Palmetto Bowl. All of that preview is coming up. Raphael is certainly going to take a good hard look at this spread for us, and we will break it all down in the Big Gamecock Preview Show. If you want to watch football today, have at it at noon on CBS, but at 9 a.m. in Carson, California, it's Boise State and 21st ranked San Diego State. The Aztecs looking to go, Darren, 11-1.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Upset special, maybe 3:30 on ABC. 4th ranked Cincinnati at East Carolina. And how about Missouri is at Arkansas today as well at 3:30 on CBS. That is some of the slate. The rest of it tonight, 7 o'clock ESPN, North Carolina and North Carolina State. The Tar Heels looking to stay above 500 with a win. NC State at 20th in the country. They are 8-3. There's still a chance for them to win the ACC Atlantic, as well as is a chance for Wake Forest, as is a chance for Clemson. Clemson needs both NC State and Wake Forest to lose their ball games. But don't go to sleep tonight early, because the Apple Cup is always fun at 8 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. And there are other games out there as well, Darren. But it's a pretty good Friday afternoon slate.
It's a great afternoon slate for college football and for college basketball. I mean, it's loaded across the board for both of them. Tonight, you've got Gonzaga and Duke also going. You've got Baylor in action. San Diego State has the other USC in basketball today. There's a chance it's a pretty good day for San Diego State. The Aztecs basketball team is off to a very good start as well. So there's a lot to keep an eye on, not just today, tomorrow, but rivalry week, man. That's what you're looking for. You know what I didn't realize right off the bat as I was making some of these graphics?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I was thinking Army-Navy, part of rivalry week, and it's all part of this weekend, but it's not. It's next weekend, isn't it?
2 weeks. Next week's championship weekend, and then and then that game is played. 2 weeks at the end of the season. They always stand alone. And then generally right after them start some of the lower tier bowl games, and so on and so forth. You know how this works. So, yeah, I mean, as far as rivalry weekend goes, I mean, you and I are going to pick a ton of games, and we're going to move through them pretty quickly. We're actually going to get Raphael in a little bit sooner today. As far as those games go, though, when you talk upsets today, I mean, I think that Arkansas probably needs to be paying close attention. Cincinnati and East Carolina, we've been talking about this one for a couple of weeks, and the fact that ECU has played really well this year under Mike Houston, and a Friday afternoon top 5 team coming to town, strange type stuff. That's part of our post-up careers rivalry week resume. If you're watching, obviously you can see all of that. The Egg Bowl played last night. It wasn't much of an Egg Bowl. We're going to get to that here in just a minute. But I guess what I'm getting at here, Darren, is, generally you hope on rivalry weekend there's a bunch of really good football games. And I think that many of us, when we actually look at the initial slate, especially the biggest games in the country, like some of those that we talked about the other day, the Iron Bowl, it's so-so, right? I mean, I think it's probably going to be a great weekend. I think it's going to surprise us. It always does.
Mhm.
But Georgia Tech, anybody really think the Jacks are going to hang around in there? And we haven't talked about Michigan, and Ohio State yet.
Mhm.
Ohio State's playing their best football, but something tells me Ann Arbor is going to be interesting tomorrow.
Ann Arbor is going to be rocking. I have been to a Michigan-Ohio State game. I was at the Charles Woodson clinching the Heisman game, whatever year that was, 97, 98, in that range, when I was getting set to be a college freshman and I was interested in going to Michigan. I was at that game, had a couple of friends who were up at Michigan. I've mentioned many times I got introduced to schnapps and hot chocolate, peppermint schnapps at that game. So not that I wasn't 21 when I was going into college, because clearly I absolutely was.
Yes.
But Harbaugh has never beaten Ohio State. He's 0-5 against Ohio State. It's only a 7-point line. There are a lot of wide spreads for these rivalry games. I mean, it's a double-digit spread for Clemson, Carolina. You touched on Georgia Tech. There's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of passion, but are we expecting a ton of close games? I don't know. Maybe Oklahoma State could be in the running for one of those tight games. And about post-up careers, just quickly, it is Black Friday. 20% off Black Friday personal branding packages from a career consultant in Franklin Buchanan, who's now up in New York. Well, he's local in Columbia, but he's in with New York. One of their TV stations is one of their career consultants up there. So postupcareers.com, 20% off if you get on today for personal branding, resume, LinkedIn optimization, all that stuff to further enhance your career.
Yeah, you're nearing the end of the year. Might be looking at a career change. Many of us try to reinvent ourselves starting January 1. So now would be a good time to get the resume ready if that's something that you're planning to do. On the Share Healthcare chat lines, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Joshua. We hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. Craig, you as well. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you, man. We know you're a big Tiger fan, so this is going to be hopefully a fun weekend for you. And all of those who are paying attention, the Share Healthcare chat lines, they are open. ShareHealthcare.com to protect your family or yourself for as low as $149 a month. Don't believe me? You don't have to believe me. You can believe them by heading to ShareHealthcare.com. ShareHealthcare.com. Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State. So here's I because it's a rivalry game, I actually think it's going to be a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pick the game in a little while, but I really like Oklahoma State. I think what's interesting, like, let's look at the rankings for a second, and let's just try to envision a lot of what could actually happen this weekend, Darren, because as we often say, even though it's not always true, as we often say, well, it's all going to work itself out. And this year it absolutely might.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a year where theoretically it could throw as many wrenches into it as we've seen in quite some time, with the exception of Georgia. As long as Georgia wins today, I don't even think nothing matters against Bama next weekend. I think they're going to be in no matter what. But I mean, Ohio State at 6th ranked Michigan tomorrow. Ohio State's at 2. So we're here. Let's start with this. Bama's at 3. That's a big deal. And here's why. Because had they stayed at 2, although I didn't think they deserved it, but had they stayed at 2 and they lost a close one, they win the Iron Bowl and then lose a tight one to Georgia, there's a real chance with 2 losses they could have hung around in there. It'd be hard to drop them 3 spots by losing by a field goal or something like that against far and away the best team in the country, according to everybody, if you're ranked 2nd. Going to be a little bit easier to drop them out of the top 4 if they lose a close one by being ranked 3rd. Mm-hmm. You're not going to really have that thread to hang on unless there's total chaos around you. Cincinnati, they have a great chance. I think they have a great chance to lose today.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they'll have a great chance to lose next week, much more so than the 2 teams in front of them. And obviously behind them, Michigan, if they beat Ohio State, they're in to the top 4, and until they're not, if they happen to lose a championship game or something, Ohio State's going to be out of there.
Yep.
But look who's hanging around at 6. Notre Dame. and you and I talked about this a month ago, and I think it got dismissed by a lot of folks, Darren, but it wasn't dismissed by us. I mean, this happens with Notre Dame seemingly every year. They're either in it or they're hanging around, and it just kind of falls in their lap. And it very well could happen again this year. I think one of the great arguments that's out there, and I heard it on TV the other day, David Pollack brought it up, and I think it's certainly a worthy argument to have, although many people probably wouldn't agree with my stance on this, Darren. But I think Oklahoma State at 7, even if Cincinnati goes undefeated, if Oklahoma State beats 10th ranked Oklahoma and then beats, which they would have to beat Baylor after that, who would be another top 10, top 15 win. Mm-hmm. I think Oklahoma State would have a real case for hopping into the top 4. But is that at the expense of an undefeated Cincinnati team? I don't know that the committee would do it, but I think they'd have a real case to get in there over them.
I said it last week, and I'm sticking to my Cincinnati logic here. If they win out, then I don't see anybody jumping them right now because of how things have fallen around them up to this point. It's going to be hard with them moving up to 4 with their win last week and then beating ECU. Again, if they win out. If you beat ECU, even though you're a 14-point favorite, it's still an impressive win. And then Houston. It's a strong end to the year for Cincinnati, particularly if Cincinnati plays as well as they played last week. If they can build off of that game and continue to play shades of how they looked at the beginning of the year, it'll be tough for one of those teams to jump them. Where chaos then begins, really, is if Cincinnati drops one of these games. Then Oklahoma State becomes massive this weekend. Then how Notre Dame finishes up, which is just one more game, becomes critically important. And then will it hurt or help them, whether, if they were to be in the ACC championship game, which of course they can't be. So will it hurt or help them? But if Cincinnati wins out, I find it hard to believe that they are going to fall out of this thing. Not at this point, not now that they're in. I just can't see it happening. I am still sticking to what I said last week. I can see them losing 2 of their last 3 as easily as I can see them winning out. They've already won 1. I don't think they're going to lose their last 2 now, but I can easily see them losing 1 of them.
If they lose 1, though, they don't have a chance.
They're out.
Right?
No, they're done.
Okay. No, I agree. And so Josh brings up an interesting point here in the Share Healthcare chat lines. Isn't it time to demand the Irish join a conference? I like them, but it seems they ride their name a lot of the time. So that's an interesting statement, and I think here's why. As much as you could argue your point, Josh, Notre Dame could also argue that same point of demanding themselves to be in a conference, because if they beat Stanford tomorrow, I mean, okay, Stanford's not any good this year, but Notre Dame is just sitting on the sidelines from here on out, watching everything unfold around them. And if they had a conference championship game to play in and be on TV in front of these voters, fresh in those minds, and outperform some of the programs that surround them in the rankings, I think they'd have a better opportunity of taking it into their own hands to get into the college football playoff, as opposed to having to have teams around them lose. So, I mean, this is one of those years where Notre Dame, a regular season loss, even as good as they claim they are and whatever, has it without a conference championship and 1 loss, even with all the 1-loss teams around them, has cost them. Not having a conference championship game has cost them the opportunity to prove it. Yeah, they lose it, they're out. That's true. But if they win it, maybe they're in.
It's an interesting dynamic to think about as well, because their lone loss was early in the year, and it was to Cincinnati. Their schedule strength is better the better Cincinnati plays. But if Cincinnati loses, then that puts Notre Dame back in play, while also dinging Notre Dame's schedule for losing to a team that is no longer undefeated. So it's, to me, are they alive? Yeah, they're alive. I don't know how much playing in an ACC championship game this year could potentially help them, because it's long been assumed, and it's pretty much fact, that the ACC is not getting someone into this playoff. So I don't know if this year it actually helps them. In the long run, how the playoff expands and eventually expands, will they need to be Doesn't look like it. They seem to be very comfortable sitting out without a conference affiliation and saying, look, we're good. Swarbrick's been a part of all of these conversations. They seem to be very comfortable. Maybe it gets to a point where the powers that be kind of align and say, look, you have to make a decision and join one of these conferences. I don't see it happening anytime soon, though. Not unless like the Power 5, as we've talked about many times, Power 5, 6, whatever the group is, totally breaks away and there's a complete new division that's set up. At that point, maybe they're forced to join a conference to then join up with everybody else. But until then, nothing's going to force their hand.
Well, I would agree with that. I don't think they have any intent on doing that. They got a great TV deal, and they're probably going to renegotiate that whenever it comes up, which I don't know when it comes up. But nonetheless, that's where they are. They're at 6, Darren, and we'll kind of see how that all plays out over the weekend. There are some opportunities, though, for this thing to really shake up. We're going to talk about all that coming up in just a little bit with Raphael Esparza. Remember, the Big Gamecock Preview Show is at 11 a.m. today with J.C. Shurburtt, Patrick Davis, and Michael Flint, all joining us in that order between 11 and 12 p.m. And then we'll send you off to your Black Friday shopping, your college football, and into Rivalry weekend. iHelp Consulting can help you. They've helped so many across the state. If you go to ihelpconsulting.com, you can find out everything that they offer. If you're a business owner, it's kind of crazy to not even just check into this. It doesn't cost you one penny, nothing, not a penny, unless you save a bunch of money. Yeah, that's right, man. That's what's so cool. Daniel Owens, I've gotten to know Daniel. He's a great guy. He's an old school South Carolinian guy. He's a slow talker. I know if he's watching or listening right now, he'll laugh when I say that. But that's kind of, even though I talk fast on the air, that's kind of right up my alley. So we got along instantly. iHelp Consulting, they consult, but they also become your friend all in the same instance. So if you own a business, if your parents own one, if you're a sibling, your friend, your children, whoever, you're an owner, iHelpConsulting.com, they'll take a look. It could be in credit card processing fees. It could be in cable bills. It could be in phone bills. It could be in any type of utility. It could be some type of healthcare saving costs that they might find in some of your insurance stuff. I mean, there's so much that they can look at, and they can save you a bunch of money, like the $50,000 they saved a healthcare facility. $50,000. Holy moly. What are you going to do with $50,000, So even if it's a couple $1,000s, isn't that worth a small fee out of that to save it? And if they don't find any savings, you don't pay any fees. It's that simple. iHelpConsulting.com. Remember that, business owners. How can I help you? iHelpConsulting.com, owned by Palmetto State native Daniel Owens. All right, 10:23 on this Black Friday morning, November the 26th. We hope you had a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving. We're going to time out. When we return, Raphael Esparza with mybookie.ag. He's going to pop in, and we'll run down the laundry list of rivalry games and more in college football right here on the JB and Goldwater Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity finance to new loan, subject to lender approval.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work. And two others you probably don't think much about: stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
You hear me talk about Dog and Duck all the time, and there's no other place I'm going to watch my college and NFL than the Dog and Duck. They have 3 locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road. They have specials all football season long, like $12 pitchers of their own D2 brew, $5 pints of Sierra Nevada, weekly pick'em sheets with prizes, and the best wings in town, bar none. For all your football, college, and NFL, the Dog and Duck, Clements Ferry Road, Bell Hall, and Park West.
Motley Rice LLC is a law firm with international reach, but it hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Motley Rice team fights every day for people harmed by products including asbestos and talc exposure, medical drugs and devices, and also catastrophic injuries and auto recalls, including dangerous Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. Visit motleyrice.com. Thank you, Motley Rice, for supporting the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
Okay, what's going on today, huh? Anything to talk about?
All right, greetings and a good Monday afternoon. Greetings and a good Tuesday afternoon. Greetings and a good Wednesday afternoon, and welcome aboard. All right, greetings and a good Thursday afternoon. Greetings and a good Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard. It's a good Friday morning. Black Friday morning, 10:27 on this Friday. Friday, if you're going to be traveling for football, be careful out there. Before we get to Raphael Esparza, let me get you the weekend hoop slate in the state of South Carolina. Darren did already mention some of the major national games that you can check out starting today. But as far as the in-state guys go, you've got South Carolina and in men's basketball, you've got South Carolina and Rider coming up on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Gamecocks have won 3 in a row over Western Kentucky, UAB, and Wofford. So that's next. And then they're going to actually take a little trip to Coastal Carolina in Conway. So looking forward to that one. But Riders coming up at 2 o'clock on Sunday for the Gamecocks. The Citadel on Sunday there in Orangeburg to take on South Carolina State. The women in Columbia, they'll play today, 3 o'clock Elon. That's on the SEC Network Plus. And then they're off again until Monday. Charleston Southern, they're at Clemson today at 2 o'clock. So the Bucks and the Tigers will tangle on the hardwood. Tomorrow, the College of Charleston is at UT Chattanooga. That's a 4 o'clock tip. And then they will come back home to take on Tulane. Remember that Tulane game is part of a 2-game series this year with the Green Wave. They will turn around a week later and head to New Orleans to play Tulane again on December the 7th. And Coastal Carolina, they're off until next Wednesday, December the 1st, when they host the Gamecocks. So that is a quick look at the hoop schedule. If any of those are intriguing to you, there you go. You can pop out there and catch some of that. As Darren mentioned, with hoops on a national level, there are some big games to be played. Matter of fact, this morning on ESPN at 11 o'clock, 6th-ranked Baylor and Michigan State are playing down there in Nassau. Baylor's a 6-point favorite in the game. The Spartans are 5-1. Baylor is undefeated. So that is certainly one to look forward to on a national level. In college basketball, you got Syracuse and Auburn at 4:30 today on ESPN2. Also in the Bahamas, Syracuse is 3-2. The 19th-ranked Tigers, they are 4-1. You got 25th-ranked Xavier tonight at 7, and Virginia Tech. Xavier's 4-1. VT is 5-1. That's on ESPN2. And then how about this? Iowa State and Memphis are both undefeated at 5-0. That's on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. tonight, but they will kind of lap over and compete with Duke and Gonzaga, which Darren mentioned, the top 5 matchup in the Continental Tire Challenge out in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. Gonzaga is a 9-point favorite over the Blue Devils, who are 6-0 on the season. And they just this past week defeated the Citadel, of course. That was the game in which Coach Duggar Balcom collapsed on the court for the Citadel. But by all reports, Darren, he's doing better. And hopefully we'll be seeing him pretty soon.
Yeah, I didn't get a report on when we'll be seeing him soon. I was texting with him though. The day he was coming back, he was probably already back when I was just exchanging a couple of quick texts with him. Basically said it was a scary night. He was proud of his guys. Citadel set a Cameron Indoor record with 18 threes. That's the most an opponent has ever hit inside Cameron Indoor. Proud of his guys, but a scary moment for sure. So the last update I had from him was he had a couple of doctor's appointments coming up in town in Charleston. And obviously, thoughts are with Duggar. But with luck, everything is good with Duggar, and he's not spending as much time as I will be this weekend. Worried about what Raphael has to say here, and throwing some money around with mybookie.ag, because that's not going to be any good for his heart.
Yeah, no, it won't be. You mentioned with luck. Sometimes that's what it takes to win some cash, and maybe this Black Friday, all the money that's going to be going out the door on Christmas presents could come back in by way of a spread or two out there in the wide world of college football. Raphael, how was your Thanksgiving, brother?
Quiet. Besides working and watching not only football, but we had, I think, like 15 Europa soccer leagues. We had other leagues of soccer going on, college basketball. So I was just happy that the Saints game last night was a bore fest, and so was the Egg Bowl. So I was able to watch some college hoops and some other exciting stuff besides some let's face it, there was some horrible football played, just like there's going to be horrible football being played today. Do we really want to watch EMU, CMU today? Do we really want to watch Utah State, New Mexico, which us three can probably put points up against New Mexico? So I would have to say the football schedule for Thursday, Friday have been an F.
Well, I couldn't have predicted that with the Egg Bowl. The Raiders game was good. The Raiders and the Cowboys.
That was a good one.
That was a fun football game.
Good that the Raiders won. They deserved it. I mean, the Cowboys had every opportunity there at the end, but my God, they played horribly.
Yeah, there was more laundry on the field than is in my washing machine right now.
Yeah, there was more people in at Ford Field watching that Bears Lions game than there were watching it on TV. I think we turned it off. I mean, they're so bad, both of them. It's
everyone kept on asking me all week when I was doing media hits, why do Detroit Lions play on Thanksgiving? And then I figured it out. It's so the turkey has to watch that game, and it's so bad to watch the Lions that he will commit suicide and jump in the oven himself. So that's why the Lions are on TV.
But they did a great job by not going over 20 in the first half. They almost did. Yep. They did a fantastic job by not doing that.
And then staying under. So everyone bet the over 41 and a half. So that was
really. I was not the everyone there. I was the other people.
If you're gonna sit around and eat pumpkin pie and try to stretch your stomach out, do you really want to watch an under game, the first one? So people are betting just because they wanted some excitement.
Yeah, well, there you go. That makes sense. That makes more sense. All right, hey, real quick before we get to football, there's a bunch of actually pretty good basketball games today, but this is the headliner tonight, 10:30, out in Vegas. Duke and Gonzaga. The Devils are 7.5 point dogs in this one. If somebody has their eyes on this top five matchup, what would you tell them?
Wait, because I think we'll see some drastic line movement as the day goes on. Because, again, it's a late game. You guys will be sleeping. You guys will be hitting the enter button, still shopping for Black Friday for your million kids that you guys have. But I say wait for this one because I think that we're going to see some number. I mean, the Gonzaga already moved up to a whole point. It's up to 8, some 8.5s out there. Total's been fluctuating between 154 and 153. So I would say wait. If you're looking to bet Duke, wait to see how high. If you can maybe get 8.5 or 9. If you're waiting to bet the total, wait to see what that goes because this number is going to be fluctuating all day long.
There you go. Raphael Esparza on Twitter at VSI.Sport, mybookie.ag. That's where you can follow along with us as we keep him around for another 20 minutes and look at this weekend's slate of college football games. Let's start with one that kicks off in about an hour and a half at noon, but at 9 a.m. out west. San Diego State, 19th in the country. Raphael hosts Boise State. Boise is a 3-point favorite, according to mybookie.ag, and the over-under sits at 44. This is an early one for them out in Carson, California. What do you think about this ball game? Over-under at 44. That's wow.
You guys know I do a lot of research for a lot of stupid prop bets that I put up. And I couldn't find anything to tell me why is this game being played at this time slot on a Friday. I could not find anything. And it's a horrible, horrible time slot for San Diego State. It's a horrible time slot for Boise. I think that's why the Boise money comes in. I think ever since they lost to Air Force, they won 4 straight, but their defense has not allowed 20 points or more since that loss to the Force. So I think that's why the money has coming in on Boise. And let's face it, I'm not sold on San Diego State's offense. I mean, granted, they put up, 20-plus points their last 2 games, but one of them was against UNLV, so I'm not sold on them. I like the Boise one in this one. I just think so. San Diego State's just so dependent on their run game. If they can't run, they're throwing attack. It's like watching Navy.
Well, Darren, I've got Boise State winning the game as well, and just because of what he said, I like their defense. I think they win a squeaker.
I have San Diego State in the game. I think San Diego State's defense is a touch better. I didn't realize how bad San Diego State's offense was until I was doing some research earlier this morning. But I have San Diego State. I have them plus the 3, so I'll say for our purposes that I'll take them to win the game as well.
In the SEC at 3:30 on CBS, Missouri and Arkansas has found a home on Black Friday afternoons. Arkansas this time is a 14.5-point favorite at home against Eli Drinkwitz and the Missouri Tigers. The over-under is at 62.5. The Razorbacks looking for win number 8. Missouri, who's played better football down the stretch here, guys, is looking for win number 7. And whoever wins this game will be 500 in the league this year. Raphael, does Missouri cover that 14.5?
Last week, I said Missouri is going to win outright for my niece who's recovering from her horrible car accident. But not this week. She's up in rehab, and she's doing better. So I'm going with Arkansas, the Hogs, on this one. I think they bounce back.
And cover the 14.5. I got Arkansas winning the game, Darren.
I have Arkansas winning the game as well. I'm not touching the spread, but I have Arkansas winning the game.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your daughter's name? I wanted to see who she liked in this game. She ran away already.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Grayson. I don't know where she went. Grayson is her name, and there she comes. She can get a pick on this. Arkansas or Missouri, who wins the game? Quickly. Arkansas is the answer.
Arkansas. She goes with Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas wins. Grayson, you're smart.
Yeah.
All right, NC State and North Carolina tonight at 7 on ESPN. NC State can actually still win the ACC Atlantic. They're 6.5-point favorites at home against the Tar Heels. I feel like that's come down a little bit. Who wins this game?
It has. It opened up as a touchdown favorite and has come down. I'm going to see if I can get a better number on NC State. If I can get maybe 5.5 or maybe even 5 on this one, I don't think we'll go a solid 5, but I kind of like the Wolfpack at home since the number has moved. I didn't see that much wise guy money, just a lot of Joe Public money. So if I want to bet, I'll fade the Public on this one if I can get a better number. But I think NC State squeaks out a victory.
I do too. You know, this is the type of game that North Carolina wins, and you're like, of course they do. But I'm going to take NC State, but I don't think they cover it though.
I'm right there with you. I got NC State, but exactly what you said. It's the type of game that how North Carolina just wins. You're like, okay. I mean, that's the type of year it's been for North Carolina. It would make all the sense in the world.
It absolutely would. The Apple Cup is tonight at 8:00 on Fox Sports 1 from beautiful Husky Stadium in Seattle. Washington State is a 1-point favorite over 4-7 Washington. They're both, I guess, looking for new coaches. So who wins?
Coaches are hard to come since a lot of these other coaches have signed extensions. So that just tells you how bad these programs who need coaches are not up and ready to swing for be a championship anytime soon. I'm just shocked at how well Washington State has played since they fired their coach because of COVID. The kids are still fighting. They've covered, I think, 7 out of their last 8 games. They split their last 4. If they play like they did against Arizona State on the road, then they have no problem beating the Huskies. I like the Cougars in a spot.
I do too. There's something about Washington State that I've just gotten behind over the years, and that's why I'm going to take them in the game. They win. Darren?
I've got the exact same thing right there. Washington's just like a spinning cycle straight down.
Okay, now for some head scratchers. One is at 1:30 today. This one's on the Big Ten Network. So if you don't have the Big Ten Network, you might be missing out on some intrigue. And I don't know why that is, but that's why Raphael's here. We're going to ask him. Iowa is at Nebraska. Again, 1:30, 16th ranked Iowa, 9-2, 6-2 in the league. Nebraska, 3-8, 1-7 in the Big Ten. And the Huskers are 1-point favorites. What do I not know here? What's going on?
I'm just trying to figure out how many kids is in that household. Every time someone walks around a corner is a brand new one. I was totally confused on this one. What, you live in a Brady house? But, I mean, I really don't want to go with anything. I think if Iowa can play a great defense on the road, I think they win this game. But Nebraska, even though they're 3-8, they've covered 6 out of their last 10. I mean, so I can see them winning at home. Frost is going to be there next year, which totally blows my mind. I would say Iowa wins this one, but again, it's college football this year. Nebraska probably wins by 3 touchdowns.
Look, somebody knows something I don't know. So I'm taking Nebraska in the game for that reason. And when you look at the fact that they've lost 5 straight games, this would be, of course, a great momentum builder into the offseason for the Huskers and Scott Frost, and they're restructuring everything and this and the other. The last 3 games they've played at home, guys, here are their opponents, and here are the scores. Mm-hmm. Michigan, lost by 3. Purdue, having a pretty good year, lost by 5. Ohio State, having a pretty good year, they lost by 9. I'll take Nebraska to beat Iowa.
It'd be great for Scott Frost. I just think the trend continues. I think it's a team that's better than Nebraska. They're going to hang around with. They're going to tease their fans. They're favored probably because they're at home. That's probably the swing in the line right there. I'm going to go Iowa. Somehow, some way, they pull this off and they win close and they throw another thorn right into the hearts of the Huskers.
Yeah, no Martinez, the quarterback. Johnson's out as their running back. But again,
Martinez is out? I didn't know he was out.
He's out for the season.
Forget that.
But like I said, Iowa should win this one, but it's college football. It's football in general this year. Nebraska wins by 3 touchdowns.
That goes to show you what I know. Never mind. Iowa wins the game. Can I change my pick, Darren?
Sure.
Okay, I changed it with information.
Anyway, I just trust you afterwards when you tell me.
I'm changing.
Darren's daughters are ones who can say yes or no if you could change your pick.
It was the same daughter who had just changed, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing.
She'll be back in a minute in a different outfit. All right, Raphael, and this one, I will stick with this one. I've been hinting at this for a while, and I'm going to stay with it. I think East Carolina beats Cincinnati today. And I want to ask you about that. They're 14-point dogs at home. The Pirates are 3:30 ABC from Dowdy Ficklin, but I think they win the game. What do you think?
I think this game stays under, and I told you guys last week that they were going to probably win and cover against SMU, but lose 2 straight, lose to the Pirates and lose to Houston in the conference championship, and I'm going to stay with that. I have plus 14. I don't play money lines. As you guys know, I'm not the biggest money line bettor. I took the plus 14. I took the under when it was at 58. I think it's going to see a defensive battle on this one, and give me the Pirates.
I was thinking that and leaning that for a long time until I saw how Cincinnati played last week. My hunch now is that Cincinnati kind of has it in gear. That last home game has them feeling the right way. Those seniors are going to go out the right way. I think they win this game, and I'm not going to touch it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they cover it. But I'm pretty confident that they win the game.
Okay. All right. On to Saturday. MyBookie.ag is where you can follow along with us and hopefully make some money starting on this Black Friday. All right, Georgia Tech. Darren and I both, I'll speak for you, Darren. We both have Georgia winning the game. The question is, do they cover that 35?
We'll make this quick. Yes and yes.
Okay. All right. This one's not going to be as easy. Ohio State and Michigan, a top 6 matchup in Ann Arbor. The folks at Ohio State, they don't like Ann. They say nasty things about her. Ohio State's a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 64.5, and we all know what's riding on this line here. 2-5. Buckeyes, big game. Michigan, what do you think?
This is easy. I'll make it quick. Ohio State. I mean, Michigan has been blown out the last 2 games. Until they show me something different, OHIO.
Part of our buy or sell segment with Carolina One Real Estate's Jeff McCarragher. Jeff.McCarragher at CarolinaOne.com for your next home here in the Low Country. Darren?
Maybe I need to give him a call soon.
You moving down with us? I got Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh is going to go to 0-6 against the Buckeyes, and I think Ohio State covers the game as well, and then goes on to win the Big Ten championship. It goes flying into the playoffs.
It's hard to go against the Buckeyes when they're playing well. I agree with both of y'all. I think they'll win the game. It's going to be a tough day for Jim Harbaugh in that lifetime contract. These coaches in Michigan are getting paid, man. I'm being in the state of Michigan and Michigan State as well, but we'll see what the future looks like there. All right, how about 10th ranked Wake Forest on the road at Boston College after last week's throttling at the hands of the Clemson Tigers? Of course, more on them here in a little bit. Wake is only a 5-point favorite on Chestnut Hill, 64.5, the over-under.
I like BC in this one. Wake maybe is in a spiral. They lost 2 out of their last 3. I think they got exposed with Clemson last week and how you can maybe cover their wide receivers and their tight ends in the middle, especially in the second half. I know BC's coming off a loss to Florida State, but give me the Eagles. I'm not sold on Wake Forest. Ooh, they put up big numbers against horrible teams.
Man, this is difficult. Yeah, that Florida State's playing better, so I want to give them some credit there. BC's got Jerkovich back there at quarterback. Darren, I'm probably going to pick Boston College just because they're at home. It's going to be cold up there in Boston, so BC wins.
I think Wake Forest finds a way. It'd be a shame if they don't, and that's kind of where I'm going with my heart here with Wake Forest. The way that they've played this year, the numbers that Hartman's put up, the job that Clausen has done, Kevin Higgins on that staff, I bring up his name a lot as well, the former Citadel coach. It'd be a shame. It'd be a shame the way they've played all year long to lose to Clemson, lose to Boston College, and then maybe get backdoored out of the ACC championship game. So I think Wake Forest goes and gets the job done and finds themselves in the ACC championship.
Good pick. Yeah. All right. Florida State. One of these teams is going to go bowling. I don't know who it is. Florida is going in. They're going in different directions at the end of the year. Florida's also looking for a new head coach, but they're 3-point favorites in the game. Who wins?
Do I have to pick this one? I mean, man, I'd rather watch Houston and Connecticut when Houston's a 33-point favorite in this one. Give me Florida State. You said they're playing much better. I'll take the +3, and I would not be shocked if they get the outright W. I think they would probably be more excited to go bowling than Florida will be.
Yeah, I think the carriage has no horses left. That thing is just falling down the hill. Yeah, Florida loses. Florida State wins. Darren?
I'm right there with you. It's just hard to see Florida putting together a full game right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a rivalry game and all that. I get it, but nah, Florida State wins again. Auburn and Alabama is at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon in the Iron Bowl. The Tide are 20.5-point favorites. I certainly have them winning the game. Raphael, do they cover?
I'm going to say no, they don't cover. I was disappointed at how they played last week. They're not blowing out teams. Their defense is not even close to what we've seen Alabama defense. I'm going to say Auburn hangs around. I think Bama maybe wins by 17 or 2 touchdowns. But let's say Alabama only wins by a field goal. And let's say Cincinnati routs ECU. Did they get leapfrogged again?
Did anybody see the Saban rant?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was fantastic.
Give me Bama by 90.
90.
I think more college fan bases need to see that Saban rant because it is not at all observed or just solely about
100% true.
Yeah, it's the general truth for a lot and most fan bases. If you haven't seen it, go see it and watch Eli Gold try and stop him and laugh and think that it's over, and Saban just cut him off and continue on his rant and the passion behind it. Loved it.
Bingo. Yeah. You do have Bama, right?
Oh, I have Bama winning.
Okay, I just wanted to just make sure here. How about the Civil War? Oregon and Oregon State at 3:30 ESPN tomorrow. Hey, man, you got to give credit to the Beavers. They've had a nice year, but Oregon is a touchdown favorite in this one. Do they cover?
No, I like the Beavers in this one. They've covered 7 out of 10. I mean, I think the way Oregon got exposed last week by Utah, they're still talking about that game, how they let it slip away right from the kickoff, not just at fourth quarter, right from the kickoff, they let it slip away. Even the Beavers, you said it, they've been playing really well, and they play really good against good top teams. I think they're 6-0 against the spread against teams that are 500 or higher. I like the Beavs. Give me the +7.
I got Oregon winning the game, but I'm kind of right there with you. I think this game's closer than people think it is. Darren?
I think Oregon wins the game, and I think they cover. I think they need to have the prove-it factor there with Oregon. Josh Pate has this whole rubber band thing. You stretch it out and you bounce back. Something along those lines. But, yeah, I like Oregon. I like them to cover and kind of say, look, we're still around even though we have no shot at the playoff.
Supposed to be raining all game long, too, so that could be different.
No doubt. Let me get some quick picks in here, Raphael. You've got Virginia and Virginia Tech at 3:45 on the ACC network. The Wahoos are 7-point favorites.
Easy. Cavaliers. Give me the Cavs.
Yeah, I'm with Virginia. Darren, Virginia.
Yep, right there with you.
All right, how about 15th ranked Wisconsin at Minnesota at 4 o'clock on Fox? Does Wisconsin cover that 7?
The total is the same as my waist since I ate all day yesterday, so I want to take
39.
Wisconsin. That their defense is playing much better. This is a totally different Wisconsin team than we saw from the get-go. I like Wisconsin.
I like Wisconsin to win. I think Minnesota actually covers, Darren.
I like Wisconsin to win. What's that line?
7.
Not touching it. I like Wisconsin to win the game. I think they continue to go, in the direction they're going.
How about Kentucky at Louisville at 7:30 on ESPN2? The Cardinals 3-point favorites at home. Mark Stoops, a lot of whispers now about LSU.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I'm going to say Kentucky. I'll take the +3, but are those whispers maybe in the players' heads as well in this game? So it would not shock me if Louisville wins this by a touchdown. I'll stay away this one, and I think it's going to go under 57.
Under 57. I like Kentucky to win the game. I think they'll run the football better. They win.
I like Kentucky to win the game. I like the under more than I like Kentucky to win the game. And as Mike Morgan always says, it's not who you want, it's who you can end up getting when it comes to coaching searches with all these coaches looking like they're signing extensions or already have signed extensions.
Out west, Notre Dame's at Stanford. Does Notre Dame cover the 20 at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Raphael?
I think they do. Stanford's just a train wreck right now.
They are. Yeah, they are. I think they do too. Darren?
I don't think they cover the 20. It would help them in their playoff chase, especially if Cincinnati loses. But I do think they win the game. It'd be a stunner if they lost.
Can't wait to see Georgia just beat Notre Dame by 40 when 1 versus 4.
These West Coast games are a little bit closer. BYU at Southern Cal. BYU is a 7-point favorite. UCLA is a 6.5-point favorite over Cal. What do you see in both of those?
Give me the bicycle helmets. BYU just trounces USC. The way the USC played in the second half last week against UCLA, you could tell that their season's done.
Pretty embarrassing. Yeah. I got BYU beating them pretty bad. Darren?
Oh, yeah, I have BYU. Yeah, no doubt.
Cal, UCLA. I like UCLA at home, and I like them to cover that 6.5 as well.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. We're all good there? Everybody's good. All right, got it. Okay. Back into the SEC at 7 o'clock on ESPN. LSU will play host to Texas A&M. A&M is a 6.5-point favorite. LSU, remember, they're trying to hire a head coach as well. The over-under in 47 in the SEC.
So we had a speed through the West Coast plays, but now we have to talk about LSU and Texas A&M. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's how far we've gone on this show. But give me A&M. I want nothing to do with LSU.
Yeah, it's the going away party for Ed Orgeron, unless they win the game. Is he coaching in the bowl game if they win?
Probably. That's probably. I mean, look, they've let him coach the rest of the year, so why wouldn't they let him finish it out if they win the game and go to a bowl game? I don't think they win the game, though. So
I don't either.
I don't know if it's really to be discussed.
Moot point.
The whole state of Louisiana sports is the reason why it looks like an L.
Yeah.
Pelicans, Saints, the LSU, yeah.
All right, here you go, Darren. Somebody explain this one. $100 million is going to Mel Tucker and their 2-point dogs at home against Penn State at 3:30 on ABC tomorrow afternoon. Penn State cannot run the football, and Michigan State can. What am I missing?
That's a great question. I mean, I said to you guys, I wish I had Tucker's agent last week because how does he get that big contract before he signs or before he plays Ohio State? This one puzzled me. I think Michigan State bounces back. You said the rubber band effect in your last quote a couple of minutes ago. I think Michigan State bounces back. I'm just not sold on Penn State.
I'm sorry, Darren. I got to go with Michigan State. They run it too well.
I picked Michigan State as well. They opened up as a favorite. I'm curious as well why the line swung, and is this going to be the same situation as when Tucker had the announcement of his contract? They announced Franklin's 10-year deal. Is he now going to lose right on the heels of that announcement? My hunch is yes.
They might be shoveling in this game before the game tips off. Supposed to get some snow.
Yeah, both teams are okay with that. By the way, for the record, I'm totally good with the Franklin extension. I just think they lose the game.
Yeah. They. I don't see it. Mm-hmm. This one I think's got a chance to be pretty good. Oklahoma's a 4.5-point dog on the road in Bedlam. Oklahoma State is trying to squeak into that playoff if they can. 7:30 ABC. This might be the best game on TV on Saturday night, part of our Post Up Careers Rivalry Week resume, Raphael, who wins?
This is my 1A, 1B game of the weekend. Gonzaga, Duke and Oklahoma State. I think this game is going to be fantastic. I wish it was a little bit later, but I would love to see the 9 o'clock game so I can enjoy this one. Oklahoma State, they've covered 9 out of 10. Give me the Cowboys at home. I'm not sold on Oklahoma. They're going to be maybe it still be New Year's Eve game somewhere, but I think they lose.
Darren, I'm with him. I like this series. I respect both of these programs. I really enjoy watching them play football. I've said all year long Oklahoma State's pretty good. I like watching Boone Pickens Stadium when it's packed and having fun. It's a neat place. And I think because of that, they win the game tomorrow night against Oklahoma.
I think they're A, the better team. I think B, I want them to win the game because I want them hanging around in the event Cincinnati loses. I think Oklahoma State could throw a wrench into these playoffs if they can get in. So my pick here is Oklahoma State.
Yeah, if Oklahoma wins, I think they'll actually play again in the Big 12 championship game. So let's hope Oklahoma State wins. And finally, Darren and I will pick this coming up in the Big Gamecock Preview Show. Raphael, will leave the last minute to you. The Palmetto Bowl, the 118th version, tomorrow night at Williams-Brice, sold out Williams-Brice Stadium. The Clemson Tigers come to town. The Gamecocks trying to halt a 6-game losing streak against their upstate rivals. The Tigers are 11.5-point favorites in the game, and the over-under is low, 43.
Yeah, there's a reason why that total's that low. I like the under still with this low total. I just like the way Clemson played defense last week. Their defense has been outstanding since that loss against Pitt. So I think defense rules this one. I'm going to say Clemson. They've covered 3 of their last 4. Their offense is slightly improving game after game, but defense rules in this one.
Do they cover the 11.5?
I'm going to say they do.
Okay. Raphael Esparza. MyBookie.ag, he's got Clemson taking the 11.5. It's come down from 14 earlier in the week. We'll see what happens. I hope you have a awesome Black Friday and a wonderful weekend. And, of course, we know you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's a big weekend for you, my man. Enjoy it.
Busy weekend. But you guys have a fantastic weekend, Black Friday, and have a great weekend.
Before we let you run, Raphael, let me just throw this plug in for MyBookie because all day long today, there's some other stuff going on tomorrow. They've got Black Friday flash sales going on, lightning picks, which are basically guaranteed locks. There are going to be a couple throughout the day, some boosts that are now up that run, periodically throughout this month and then, the rest of it and December as well. There's a chance to really boost your money if you get in now with MyBookie.
I couldn't agree more. There's too much stuff that's going off through their marketing, so we would have to do a 2-hour show.
We'll do that one day. That would be fantastic. MyBookie.ag to make your money back on this Black Friday weekend. Have a wonderful weekend, bud. See you soon. See you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. There you go. Time out. When we return, the Big Gamecock Preview Show, the final one of the regular season of 2021. Clemson and South Carolina, J.C. Shurburtt, Patrick Davis, Michael Flint, all join us. We'll be right back. Right here in our backyard is Motley Rice, LLC, a law firm that hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Motley Rice team fights every day for South Carolinians who were injured while traveling by plane or bus, harmed by medical drugs and devices, or burdened by dangerous auto recalls, including Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. We are honored to have Motley Rice as a sponsor for the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
At Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum, families walk in the footsteps of our nation's heroes, the brave ones who risk their lives to defend our way of life. Home to the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, and the USS Clamagore, there's more than 1 million square feet of exhibit space to roam. White Glove certified, we have several new health safety measures in place to enhance the visitor experience. Come for the day and leave feeling inspired. One of the most impressive museums in the country, located right here in Mount Pleasant. Visit patriotspoint.org for more. We'll see you soon.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work, and 2 others you probably don't think much about. Stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
This is Scott Glaze, head golf professional at the links at Stono Ferry, located on the outskirts of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm inviting you to tee it up on one of the most scenic and challenging courses in the Lowcountry. Our back nine is highlighted with 3 holes that border the Intercoastal Waterway. Visit stonoferrygolf.com to book tee times and discover all that Stono Ferry has to offer. The links at Stono Ferry is a former South Carolina Golf Course of the Year and is also home to the College of Charleston men's and women's golf teams. Come see us. We would love to have you. stonoferrygolf.com.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Roberts, owner of 3 Seeds Wellness Studios. And just like being in your favorite ballpark feels like home, our studio feels like home to our clients. We offer over 20 different services to help our guests cultivate, nourish, and grow their bodies and minds. Centrally located in the heart of West Ashley, we offer massages, facials, acupuncture, yoga classes, and everything in between, helping you become that you want to be. A complete list of services are available online, and gift cards are available both online and for curbside pickup. Go to 3seedswellnessstudios.com. Happy holidays.
Yes, inside the 30. Holtz will take it up there for the touchdown. To Rice. Touchdown. He caught it in traffic.
Big sack for the Gamecocks. J.J. Inigbari.
Walks it up, looking for Kelly. Touchdown! Can you believe it?
JB and Goldwater presents the Gamecock Preview Show, proudly brought to you by Motley Rice. Our history makes us bold, our boldness makes history. And now, it's time for some Gamecock football.
Get the ball to Bennett. It's on. Going for everything. Ellis looking for blood. Touchdown. Oh, my.
This is Rodgers again to the 25, 20, 15, 10. Rodgers scores. Back to Thomas Bindi, and Bindi spins into the open, and he's on his way. It's a tie-ball game if they can get the extra point. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown board, second of the day.
There's never been more excitement about South Carolina football than there is right now.
I've heard all the stories of the great George Rogers out back in 1980. He made the whole nation holler, and I've seen that photograph of young Steve Tannehill up in old Death Valley, signing his name on the field. Yeah, and I love the year 2001 at the Williams Brass Rock. Oh, what else can I say? I'm just a big old car.
Black Friday, as they call it. The Gamecocks are looking for a Garnet Saturday. Big game Garnet it would be if they can get a win over the Clemson Tigers. Greetings and good afternoon again, and welcome to the final hour of JB and Goldwater, the Big Gamecock Preview Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice and driven by Stokes Volkswagen, and of course served by our friend Patrick Davis and his Whiskey Jam. Tomorrow, it's game day. Make sure you've got Whiskey Jam as part of your game day tailgate. Make sure you've got some tonight if you're going to watch Patrick perform at the Toys for Tots show at the Senate in the Vista. He'll be joining us in less than 30 minutes on our program. But first, we got to set the scene because tomorrow's the 118th meeting between the Clemson Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Clemson comes in at 8-3, 6-2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The Gamecocks are 6-5, 3-5 in the SEC. It's a sold-out Williams-Brice. 77,559 people will fill it at least. It's the first time since the new attendance has been set that it has been sold out. Remember, last year, a COVID year is when they had reduced seating to improve seating by way of suites. But this time, it's going to be loud with a bunch of Gamecocks and Tigers, where Carolina is going to try to snap a 6-game losing streak to Clemson. It's the best opportunity they've had to do it in quite some time. We'll get to all of that. It's a 7:30 kick on the SEC Network. Taylor Zarzer will call it. Matt Stinchcomb will analyze it. And former Gamecock student Alyssa Lang will roam the sidelines for the SEC Network. Todd Ellis, Tommy Suggs, Jamar Nesbitt, they've got it on the radio. If you're going to be traveling out there, Sirius XM channel 137 or channel 190. It's Shane Beamer. If he wins, he's going to be above 500 in his first year. Right now he is at 6-5 against Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney has had quite a career for Clemson, and he's looking to win another one against the South Carolina Gamecocks. It would be his 149th career win. He's 148-36 in 14 seasons. J.C. Shurburtt, owner of thebigspur.com, has been with us all year. We've woken him up early to get with us today on Black Friday. J.C., there's a lot of storylines in this one, but I think the biggest storyline is the fact that both of these teams are playing their best football at the end of the season. What's up, bud?
Yeah, hey, good to be with you guys today. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And yeah, they are. It's been a while since Clemson's lost a game. I know they've had some close calls since that loss to Pitt. Florida State could have gone either way. That Louisville game was a comeback win. But, I believe that no matter how ugly it is sometimes, when you're a football team, it's better to win and not look good than to the alternative. And that's why I have a lot of respect for the job Clemson's done this year. They're not the dominant team they have been, but they've won games, and that's what's important, and that's the bottom line. And programs do take a dip at times, and the programs that get back up off that dip are the ones that end up being great through the years. So, they're both playing their best football, and I think the key guys on both teams is the ability for both to run the football. When both teams, Clemson or Carolina, on offense have been able to run the football, they've been able to win. And when they have not been able to run it well, it's been dicey. And I think that that's the number one key tomorrow night, I think, with both of these teams. Clemson's got to get Kobe Pace and Will Shipley going. South Carolina's got to get Zaquandre White and Kevin Harris going and whoever else going. And the team that does that the best, I believe, will be the team that wins the football game.
Yeah, Clemson averages 162 yards rushing per game. Gamecocks average 130. That Tigers number has been helped dramatically by the 333 that they tapped onto the score sheet of Wake Forest last week when they dismantled the Demon Deacons at home. Guys, JC, you're a man of Gamecock wisdom, but I don't know that even you might know this. The last time I think we could all agree that we went into a ball game between these two teams where South Carolina truly had a chance to win it. What year do you think that might be if you had to go back in time?
Truly had a chance to win it. I think 2014 would have been the year. And I think South Carolina had some designs on winning it, Dylan Thompson and that offense South Carolina had in 2014 was pretty good. But if you remember, too, Clemson had the number one defense statistically in the country.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson played on a torn ACL and played well, but in that ball game, I thought Clemson really took advantage of South Carolina's defensive deficiencies in terms of the perimeter. They really attacked the perimeter well, ended up winning 35-17. Gamecocks had it inside the one and couldn't score, things like that, and that broke the streak. But that was the last game you go into, and you think, well, the Gamecocks could go up there and win. Mm-hmm. And they did get off to a pretty good start. They got up 7-0. Other than that, I would be lying if I said there was a bunch of hope in any of these football games they've played since that year. Well, 2015 was surprisingly close, but there's really been no realistic going into the game. It would have been a titanic upset for South Carolina to beat Clemson in any of those other years.
No, in that 2015 game, they closed the gap at the end of it to make it closer than it was. While you're exactly right, in 2014, I know that you knew that. That was probably pretty much the last time Carolina fans thought, hey, look, we got a chance here. Maybe you didn't know this. Going into that ball game, Carolina, 6-5. Clemson, they were 8-3, ranked 23rd in the country, just like this week. It worked out, though, for Clemson that year. The big difference, that game was played at Memorial Stadium up in Death Valley. This one's going to be played at Williams-Brice Stadium. Same records, same ranking for Clemson at the time, different venues. So we'll see what that means, JC. And I kind of want to go there before we get into some of the football game over the next 15 or so minutes with you, though. But this is the first sellout since the adjusted attendance. It used to be 80,250. They had to take out about 3,000 seats to be able to do some more in the ballpark. Last year, you couldn't sell anything out because it was COVID. This year, at times, has been disappointing. It's improved as the season has gone along, certainly with bigger games and more success. But this is tomorrow night. This is the first real atmosphere for a lot of the kids on the Gamecock sideline who are either young or have transferred into the program. For many of these coaches, obviously Shane Beamer's been a part of this before, but as an assistant coach. And, this isn't a shot at Clemson, but let me kind of remind everybody here. Clemson's got a bunch of guys playing right now who haven't had a bunch of time over the last 2 years. This is their first true road game with well over 70,000 people in over 2 years. The last time they did that, it was here at South Carolina. Last year, no. This year, they haven't played any true road games over about 60,000 people. So this is going to be the biggest atmosphere that DJ Uyunglele and all those guys have played in as well. This is actually one of those games where I feel like it might help and hurt both teams in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you have to get used to. And look, Louisville is a pretty good atmosphere up there at night. I don't know what the attendance was for that game.
Under 60.
Obviously, that Georgia game at the beginning of the season was a big-time atmosphere. And for South Carolina.
Neutral site, though.
Yeah, neutral site, but, true road game, obviously. And there'll be a big, significant Clemson contingent there like there always is at both stadiums. But it'll be probably about 80-20 Carolina. And as we all know, that place has been loud this year despite some of the empty seats, especially in games Carolina gets it going and wins. And I expect nothing different as far as the atmosphere goes tomorrow night. I mean, it's going to be a big-time deal. And the other thing about this, too, you have to keep in mind is, DJ Ungle, he's played in some big-time games. He played at Notre Dame last year, but, like you said, 15,000 in the stands because of COVID restrictions at most venues. This could be one of the more tough, hostile environments in his young career to go in and play in. And then, of course, Jason Brown, who I think, getting the experience at Texas A&M, playing against Florida, playing at Missouri, that kind of thing. I think he's, the time to have worried about him, I guess, at St. Francis, he didn't play in a game like this, that kind of thing. I think that time's kind of passed. And if it were on the road and him making his first road start like at Death Valley, that would be something to kind of consider.
Yep.
But he's played it before, big games at home, and I think that seeing that stadium packed will be an outstanding moment. I think just in terms of, hey, Clemson, Carolina's back. They didn't play it last year. Sold out stadiums are back. Carolina, big-time atmospheres are back. I think it could be a pregame tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a very cathartic moment for a lot of South Carolinians in general, just on both sides. So I'm excited about seeing that and checking that out and having that moment of pride watching on television the sold-out atmosphere for one of the greatest rivalries returning in college football.
It's also
not as good as Oregon-Washington.
It's also senior night. Spencer Eason, Riddle, Jabari Ellis, Jalen Foster, Nick Muse, Carlins Patel, Zeb Noland, Damani Staley, Aaron Sterling, and Parker White. Many of those guys are going to get standing ovations for what they've done in their careers. Parker White, tomorrow night with 4 points, will break the points record at South Carolina. It could be a special evening for that super senior. as well. We'll see if anybody else decides to walk as well, if they're planning to move on to the NFL. Still a lot to be determined on that front. You mentioned DJ Uiagalelei, 178 of 323 for 1,960 yards this year. Only 9 touchdowns to go along with 8 picks, JC. But in the 4 true road games he's played, and I'm discounting Georgia here for his benefit and ours as part of this conversation. Georgia's tough defensively, and also that was not a true road game because it was a neutral site. But in 4 true road games for DJU, he's 63 of 115. That's just 54%. And he's only thrown for 640 yards, 5 picks, and 3 touchdowns. So it kind of backs up what you were saying a minute ago.
Absolutely. And you know, look, it's a crowd and a road atmosphere can impact a passing game. That's why they say take your run game on the road and your defense on the road. And certainly I think, you know, that crowd will really come into play more and more if the Gamecocks can get Clemson into passing downs. And the DJ's got to drop back. And, you know, South Carolina's pretty good at putting pressure on the passer and that kind of thing. That's the kind of game where I think the crowd can really play and make an impact. If Clemson's able to get into 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1 and run it all over them, you know, I think you'll see a different type of loud atmosphere at Williams-Brice Saturday night.
So how about this, JC? I'm not sure how much you've dug into this, but a South Carolina win over Clemson would do a couple of things we know. One, it would snap a 6-game losing streak to the Tigers. The other, it certainly will upgrade Carolina's bowl status, and I want to ask you more about that here in a minute. But how about this note that I kind of dug into? I started thinking about it, and I said, well, wait a second, that's been a while. It would give Carolina 3 wins in the month of November. Last time that happened, 2013. It's also the last time Carolina beat 2 SEC teams in the month of November. It's also the last time they beat Clemson. So there could be a lot of things coming together with a win on Saturday night. I'm not sure if you realize that note or not, but it's been a while. If they get to 7 wins, JC, what bowl games enter the picture as opposed to with only 6?
Well, I think with 7, that probably puts South Carolina clearly in the mix for one of what's called the Selection 6 bowls or something like that. And what happens is, you know, the college football playoff selects, obviously, then the Sugar Bowl selects, and then whoever else makes the New Year's Six Bowl from the SEC gets picked. And then the Citrus Bowl. And then you have the Outback, the Gator, the Music City, the Texas, the Belk, Liberty, all those. And or not the Belk, it's the Mustard. I mean, the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl now, right?
Hey, let me ask you about that real quick. I know that most Gamecock fans say, hell no. Last time we were in Charlotte, we lost 28-0. We do not want to go back to Charlotte. But you think they'd feel differently if they beat Clemson to go to Charlotte?
If they beat Clemson and went to Charlotte and played like North Carolina,
I think people
get behind that. Anybody but the Tar Heels up there, you know, or maybe like a Virginia Tech if they happen to sneak into a bowl or something. You know, somebody, it would have to be somebody that, you know, not NC State, I guess, or not Wake Forest or somebody. Nobody wants to play Wake Forest anyway, but it's one of those things where I think for Gamecock fans to really embrace the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, even with a win over Clemson. Now, if they do beat Clemson, I do think they would sell out. I just don't think it would be nobody be really fired up about it. But if you beat Clemson and then you get a shot at the Tar Heels in Charlotte, I mean, I can't think of many better scenarios. But the administration is really pushing for the Gator Bowl. If they win or even if they don't. South Carolina's played in the Gator Bowl, obviously, more times than any other bowl outside of the Outback. Historically, the Gamecocks played in the first Gator Bowl. They went there 3 times in the 80s, brought massive crowds to Jacksonville, and they hadn't played since 1987. So just talking around the word around the campfire in Columbia is, as far as USC is concerned, the preference would be the Gator. After that, the Music City. South Carolina also has not ever played in the Music City Bowl. Gamecocks haven't been to Nashville as a fan base since 2018. That game, half of it got rained out at Vandy. Of course, the mayor of Nashville was the the one mayor around the SEC that said absolutely no fans last year. So poor Vandy had to play with no fans against the Gamecocks. So that wasn't a Gamecock trip. And, like I said, Carolina's never played in the Music City Bowl right there at I guess they call it LP Field now. It used to be the Coliseum. It's where the Titans play.
Yeah.
And that's a fun trip. So, those two destinations, I think, are the wish list. I pretty much think Carolina will go anywhere. I know they're supposed to be in the Gasparilla Bowl, which is the second Tampa Bowl last season. And obviously that canceled because of COVID. And so that's kind of a pre-Christmas game at Raymond James. The Birmingham Bowl is still out there. And of course, Carolina played in the Liberty Bowl in 06 and 80 and in 1988. So they have a history of Memphis, but that's kind of how it's looking. You beat Clemson, and I think the chances are very good of South Carolina landing in Jacksonville or Nashville, which is the preference right now as far as the university goes.
JC Shurburtt, owner of thebigspur.com. It's a happening place right now with the Palmetto Bowl tomorrow. It's a big weekend for recruits as well. There's a 4-star quarterback coming to town. They got you updated on that. And there's some smoke and fire out there about transfers and coaches and things like that. So you might want to check out the message boards if you haven't done so. JC, if they beat Clemson, much easier said than done. They haven't done it in a while, number one. Clemson is playing their best football. They've won 4 straight. They won 6 of 7. Dabo Swinney and his staff deserve a boatload of credit for what they have done. All the injuries this year, they've had players quit and opt out and transfer in the middle of the season. They've had inconsistent play. I mean, they've had a bunch of issues. Carolina knows exactly what that's like. Been through it. Difference is Carolina hadn't had the talent that Clemson has where they can plug in the next 4 or 5-star guy and get by with it. So they've been really good in the last few weeks. They've been really good as well, beating those 4 opponents, Florida State, Louisville, UConn, Wake, by an average score of 38-20. So in your opinion, before we let you pick this one, what has to go well tomorrow night for the Gamecocks?
South Carolina has to be able to stop the run. Whether that's DJ running it, whether that's, like I mentioned, Kobe Pace, Will Shipley, that's been Clemson's, they've kind of got it going by being able to run the football consistently and not having to rely on DJ. Now, DJ's played a lot better too, and that's all. It's all kind of worked together. South Carolina needs to play like a top 40 defense tomorrow night. I think they're number 48 in total defense because Clemson's defense is still an elite unit that can really cause a lot of problems. So, Clemson's played, FSU 71st in total defense, Louisville 77, Wake 110, UConn 111. So, I mean, they haven't been going up and down the field on some of the better defensive teams in the ACC. At the same time, South Carolina's gone absolutely nowhere against a lot of suspect defenses in the SEC. So, that's the key for me. I think the game on defense for the Gamecocks becomes an advantage for them if Clemson cannot run the football, just because of the way Carolina can rush the passer. And they do different things. Clayton White's really good on third down, a lot like Brent Venables in that way. And the same's true with South Carolina. I mean, you've got to be able to somehow run the ball against this defense that Clemson has. They're very, very good against the run. I think they're like 18th or so, 15th in total D. So, you got to be able to get the ball going there. So that's the key to the entire game. I think, getting pressure, getting the ball to your playmakers, getting off to a good start, all that's important. But I think, people ask me who's going to win. If South Carolina can run the ball and slow Clemson's run game, I like the Gamecocks' chances quite a bit. If they can't, I don't. So, that's kind of how I see the game. It's kind of funny how football, I say this a lot, comes down to simple things sometimes. Running the ball, stopping the run. It sounds cliche, but that's absolutely true in this one, folks.
And Carolina's proven here over the last few weeks, JC, when they don't commit penalties and they don't turn it over, they can survive to win games. I mean, they didn't blow Auburn out. They didn't have a bunch of, they had 300 310 yards of offense. I mean, it was nothing masterful, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't commit penalties, and they didn't turn it over. And they were efficient on offense when they had it. And I think those two things go hand in hand. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Like, hey, if you can run it and pretty much don't do anything stupid, you can win the game. That's kind of where we are. And what? Come on, guys. Darren, how many times we talk about this throughout the first half of the season? How many times did we say, like, if you just don't do anything stupid, you could actually, not look like that. And they look pretty stupid at times, but here they are. They've cleaned a lot of that up. JC, I agree with you, and we'll make this pick here in a little while, but I do think that there's going to be, look, you're not going to run up and down the field in Clemson. You're just not, right? So, yeah, you're going to have to get your yards, but you're not going to do it. So Jason Brown is going to have to make some tough throws, and he made some tough throws last week, and he's going to have to hit them. He's going to have to hit some tough throws tomorrow night, JC.
Yeah, and I think it's important to get it out quick. Obviously, if you're him, I mean, that's the most obvious thing I think anyone's ever said is what I just said. You got to get it out quick against these guys because they are very, very athletic, talented, quick. They get home. Their linebackers will blitz. Their safeties will blitz. I mean, you've seen it. We've all seen it. So, I agree with Brown. I think he's got to be able to pass the ball and get it out and loosen things up. Because Clemson knows South Carolina needs to be able to run it. So you got to do things to kind of keep them off balance so you can run it. And I think that falls on Jason Brown.
Who wins?
I said this on the podcast, and I'm always even with all my predictions.
I know.
I just don't. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been able to sit here with a straight face and pick the Gamecocks to beat the Tigers. I don't know when it will happen again, and that's a lot of respect for their program, and kind of I don't really think they're going to be down like this for a while, and I think the Gamecocks are going to continue to build. So I picked South Carolina to win 23-20. I think you'll see a Parker White heroic in his last game at Williams-Brice.
Oh, that would be a story of stories for Parker White, who's been through the gauntlet as a kicker in this program, one of the greatest kickers, if not the greatest kicker ever. And he might own a couple of awards that say so by the end of the year.
Sure.
So you've got South Carolina 23-20.
That would mean they'd put together like 5 scoring drives, 3 field goals, 2 touchdowns.
That would be a pretty good win.
I can see it. But hey, if Carolina can't run the ball and Clemson's running the ball, it's not going to be it's not going to be – Gamecock fans, you're probably not going to win the game if you don't do those two things. So
we'll find out. There's no doubt you could find out so much more about this game and pretty much everything else in play at the University of South Carolina, including hoops, baseball, and if you can dream it, it's there. TheBigSpur.com. Now is a great time to be a member. Isn't there a Black Friday sale going on right now?
Absolutely, guys. 75% off an annual VIP membership. So that is a heck of a Black Friday pick or a special, out there. And you don't have to leave your house and go to Walmart or wherever to get it. So that'll be good.
Absolutely fantastic. TheBigSpur.com. JC, wonderful stuff. I'll give you a shout when I'm on the road a little bit later on today and fuss and discuss this one some more. But I hope you're right, my friend.
All right, brother. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for having me on. Hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoy it because it's back and it only comes around once a year. So everybody enjoy this.
You and your turkey hangover. We'll see you later.
Turkey. See ya. I'm kidding. I'll see you guys.
See you, buddy. There you go. JC Shurburtt, owner of TheBigSpur.com. Dabo Sweeney, by the way, 18-11 versus the SEC. He is 10-3 since the start of the 2016 season against the Southeastern Conference. Paul chimes in on the Share Healthcare chat lines with a 34-9. It's an interesting score prediction for Clemson over the Gamecocks. All right, time for a timeout. When we return, Patrick Davis. Tonight, he's got a big show. He's also Got an old classic out today that's been adjusted for the new head coach of the Gamecocks, Shane Beamer. You can download it now at iTunes, wherever you get your music. PD, right here on the Big Gamecock Preview Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice. You won't ever need legal help for a catastrophic injury or health issues from a medical drug or device. But if you or a loved one suffers injury or loss, Motley Rice LLC is a nationally recognized law firm that is right here in Mount Pleasant at 28 Ridgeside Boulevard. Thank you, Motley Rice, for sponsoring the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show. Visit motleyrice.com for more. motleyrice.com.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity financed a new loan, subject to lender approval.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
You hear me talk about Dog and Duck all the time, and there's no other place I'm going to watch my college and NFL than the Dog and Duck. They have 3 locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road. They have specials all football season long, like $12 pitchers of their own D2 brew, $5 pints of Sierra Nevada, weekly pick'em sheets with prizes, and the best wings in town, bar none. For all your football, college, and NFL, the Dog and Duck, Clements Ferry Road, Bell Hall, and Park West.
All right, guys and gals, we all know it's the holiday season and you've opened up your playbook for gift giving. Don't dig too deep because I have the perfect stocking stuffer for your favorite teammate. Gift cards and baskets from 3 Seeds Wellness Studios in West Ashland. Luckily, my wife doesn't listen to our show or she would know what Santa's delivering from the North Pole. Check out 3seedswellnessstudios.com for gift cards and their retail store and have their elves stuff a gift basket full of holiday magic. 3 Seeds Wellness Studios, 3seedswellnessstudios.com to score this holiday season.
And what you're about to see is a spectacle unto itself. Let's enjoy.
On the South Carolina Fairgrounds, a stampede this morning. Beautiful blue skies, but the forecast tonight is for a blackout.
The crowd? The crowd is about to go crazy, by the way. 80,000 people. They've sold this place out for the last 6 years in a row.
It's a complete sellout. A crowd tonight of over 85,000 strong, ready to explode, just as they do each time their Fighting Gamecocks are introduced.
This crowd, the atmosphere that's going to be in that stadium, South Carolina needs to hold on to that as long as they can.
And so this frenzied crowd ready for the kickoff.
And the rave breaks out in Columbia.
This is Patrick Davis, and you're tuned into the Gamecock Preview Show, brought to you by Motley Rice and served by my Whiskey Jam Whiskey. Go Cocks.
From the front pew of a wooden white church, a courthouse clock
11:34 Friday afternoon. Welcome back to the Big Gamecock Preview Show, served by Whiskey Jam. Make sure you have your Blackberry Whiskey Jam on or in or a part of your tailgate tomorrow for the Palmetto Bowl, the 118th meeting between Clemson and South Carolina. We'll have Patrick Davis joining us here in just a moment or two, and we'll preview tonight's show with him, and then on to Michael Flint, who, of course, will break down the ball game. 71-42-4. Clemson, of course, is well ahead in this series over Carolina. They lead in Columbia 52-32-3, and in Clemson they lead 19-10-1. They've won 6 in a row, but they haven't played since 2019 because last year was a COVID year in which the SEC stuck to a 10-game league schedule. Dabo Swinney is 7-5 against the Gamecocks, and again, they've those 6 in a row, trying to get that streak snapped tomorrow. If you're South Carolina, I mentioned that note earlier. That's pretty interesting going into the ball game tomorrow. If you happen to miss it, I'm going to mention this one more time. The last time Carolina actually felt pretty good about going into this game was 2014. Carolina's 6-5 this year. They were 6-5 last year, or that year, excuse me. The Clemson Tigers are 8-3 this year, ranked 23rd in the country. They were 8-3 that year, ranked 23rd in the country. That game, though, was played in the upstate, and this game will be played at Williams-Brice Stadium. I mentioned earlier how well the Tigers have been playing coming into the game. They have outscored all 4 opponents, their last 4, Florida State, at Louisville, UConn, and Wake, 38-20 on average. Carolina's won 2 of their last 3 games, and the average scores in those contests have been about 30-20 for the Gamecocks. So, again, we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds tomorrow night, but that's just some of the series history and some of the news and notes. One other thing I'll add, too, as we're still attempting to get Patrick here in the next minute or so. He has, first of all, he's in the middle of getting ready for a bunch of stuff tonight. So sometimes things can come up, and we understand that with PD. I couldn't believe this. And JC, it's hard to not Darren, it's hard to not think that this might be an important note tomorrow night when you're watching the game. Clemson is 129th in the nation in kickoff return defense. They allow almost 30 yards per return, and Carolina's got some pretty good return guys. Juju McDowell obviously is the first name that comes to mind. As you put a comment up there from Will earlier on our Share Healthcare chat lines, Juju has been close to breaking a kickoff return for a TD the last couple of weeks. It feels like this might be the week. That's a little note to go along with that comment. And that could be a big moment for Carolina, even if it's just, big kick returns, Darren, as you know, it doesn't just necessarily have to be for a touchdown, but it could give you a shorter field. It could just flip the field to where even if you don't get something working, you've got them pinned back deep on their side of the ballpark. So we'll see how much that all matters tomorrow. But that was an astounding number, which is pretty interesting for Clemson. Usually they're pretty good there.
Look, the way that JC broke it down as well, and I think we can all agree that the way football is, it can be really complex at times. But then there are other times when you break down a game and it's going to sound very simple. Can you run the ball? Can you stop the run? And if it's going to be that type of a game, and I think that's pretty obvious that that's where the key lies in this game, then a play on special teams here and there, whether it's a long Parker White field goal that can give you momentum or stop momentum, whether it's a long kick return that can ignite a sold-out crowd. And as you've pointed out, a lot of these Clemson guys haven't played in this type of atmosphere in a long time. Those are swing-type plays in games that could be close if the game is tight at that point in time. So, yeah, that could be something to keep an eye on. And look, we just saw it against UConn. It was a busted play. It was the opening kickoff of the game. UConn drops it at the goal line. Clemson's kick coverage unit runs all around with their heads cut off, and he returns it for a touchdown. He had so much time, his own player almost knocked him down, high-fiving him. So there can be issues on that kick coverage unit for Clemson. I don't expect to see those issues. It wouldn't shock me if Juju makes a play. I don't expect to see complete and total breakdowns in any phase of the game from Clemson, though.
No, I don't either. And Will Shipley's coming into his own as well, and he's a guy who's going to be dangerous for them tomorrow night. You're going to have to keep him contained. You mentioned Parker White and South Carolina's kicking game. Let's all remember here, BT Potter's pretty good, and he's been around a while. Two of the better kickers in the country are in this game. BT Potter is 16 of 20 on the season, but what's notable about that 16 of 20 is he is 9 of 11 from 40+, 8 of 9, 40 to 49, and 1 of 2 from 50 or more. So he's had a hell of a season kicking, just like Parker White has, and both these guys tomorrow night are going to mean a whole lot. All right, we'll get Michael Flint in here in just a second.
It looks like we're going to have PD here in 1 second. Yeah, we got PD. He just wasn't aware of the number we were calling from, but we got him.
Oh, well, sorry about that, Patrick. 11:40 on this Friday afternoon. We'll spend a couple final minutes with him before we get Flint in for the last 15 or so. To get a final look at tomorrow night's Palmetto Bowl. But tonight, if you're going to be in the Midlands, it's the annual Toys for Tots show with Patrick Davis at the Senate in Columbia, South Carolina. Him and his Midnight Choir and his beautiful fiance and a bunch of party animals. What's up, bud?
Yeah, well, there are quite a few party animals. You're coming, right? You'll be the head party animal.
I will be there. By the way, I gotta, not to interrupt you. I need to just kind of get this in. This is breaking from Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Skip Holtz has been released as Louisiana Tech's head coach. That's a notable note to South Carolina. But yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm coming. How do I get my tickets? Do I just need to call you, or what?
Show up. You just show up. You just walk right in. You just say, "Hey, I'm in the band."
I'm in the band. I know PD. Let me in.
I know every word to every song. I can sing my way into the door. That's for sure.
Yeah, you just say you're one of the background singers. That's what we'll do. Yeah. Oh, it'll be great, man. It's a good night. It's one of my, I keep saying the same thing when people ask, but it's my favorite, probably one of my favorite nights of the year, man. It's just the toys and everything that everybody brings out. Really great way to kick off the holiday season, and I'm excited about it, man. And after my Cowboys got their ass kicked yesterday, I need a good night, So,
well, hopefully you'll kick off a great weekend in Columbia for the Garnet and Black. Patrick Davis joining us here on the Big Gamecock Preview Show. I do need, before we ask you about some ticket stuff and things of that nature, let's get, first of all, today the Beamer version of Big Old Cock is out. So people can download that wherever they download it. You played some of it live on our program a few days ago. That's been on YouTube. But the Beamer version is out. So get amped up for the game tomorrow with your on your tailgate or at your tailgate with Whiskey Jam and Patrick Davis. And I don't really know how much more you need. But second of all, I should say, first of all, we owe you the largest of thank yous. Yesterday is a day of Thanksgiving, Patrick. But in addition to being friends for a while, you have provided us with so much to do our shows this year as the Big Gamecock Preview Show and served by Whiskey Jam. We talk about it all the time. You do all of our bumper stuff for us. So you're a valuable part of our team. And I want to make sure we say thank you, man. You really mean a lot to us. Thanks so much.
That's really sweet, man. Well, I think I love you guys. And now, you're in the band. So, I got to do what I can for you, it's just part of the thing. So, thanks, guys. And I'm glad to see you guys doing so well down there and all over the universe, I guess, because, you can catch you guys anywhere,
Anywhere.
Goldwater, wherever you can find an internet connection. So,
that's right.
Yeah. But no, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight and seeing you sing. I will have you sing. I'll call you up for something.
Oh God,
get ready.
I'm going to need video. Need video from somebody there that's going to need to make the show on Monday.
Make sure it ain't me, man. Make sure there's the only way I'm going up there is if everybody else is up there. Now, I did find out last night that Brewer's in the Bahamas.
He is. He told me. I was like, hey. I texted him. I was like, he goes, we'll miss you again. He's still mad that I don't have him in the big old cock. Like, sometimes I put his name in there. He's like, what up, man? He's like, I'm not good enough. And I was like, hey, man, I love you, but he goes, I'm going to the Bahamas now. That's what he told me. He said he was mad. He was going to the Bahamas. Definitely, thank you. Actually, I think it was a family thing, but that's what I'm sticking to the other story. So there you go. Yeah, Brewer's not in town. Tannehill's going to come out. It's Corey, that crew. I'm working on a few. What ends up happening is I put out a little text message to a few of the former players, and they just start rolling in. I even talked to Todd Ellis, and I texted the other day about him coming out. I doubt he will, but you never know. I might need a lawyer. Who knows what'll happen?
You might. I hope you don't. If you do, I hope it's a good thing.
No, not me. Not for that. I mean, that'd be something for you. You're going to get up there. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. No, somebody. I don't need a lawyer. Not yet. Not that I know of. PatrickDavisMusic.com. There are still some tickets left, right?
Yeah. All the tables and everything are gone. There's single tickets. We've had it's sold really well. So we actually with the COVID craze that we live in, we cut the audience down to about half capacity. But we got probably 50 or 100 of the single tickets that we can kind of stay back by the bar, where you'll be. If they want to hang out with Jamie, they can be back by the bar. So yeah.
Don't. There's a lot of people out there that don't care for me, so don't tell them. Don't pin drop me now. Don't pin drop me.
Well, I'm sure they know where you will be. If you're at a venue, they're like, I bet he's going to be in this general area, like where they're serving these cocktails. Jamie will be right there.
There's going to be a lot of whiskey jam there, right?
There will be a lot of whiskey jam. We're going to. If any of you guys got the VIP tickets, there's a pre-show thing that we're doing for with some cocktails with the whiskey jam, and then there'll be plenty of it on the stage. I set up a bar on the stage. I got so many, Midnight Choir's 12, 15 people up there, so make it to where we just have a little bar on the stage they can just kind of walk over to and grab a whiskey jam, or maybe my little sister probably wants some wine. So all that'll be up there, but. Yeah, man, it should be. It's a really. If anybody is coming, just make sure. If you know anybody's coming, just make sure they bring a toy along with them. We give away some merchandise, stuff like that, to people that bring the coolest toys, and we put them all on the stage. It started out. I honestly think the first year we might have had 30 or 40 little toys up on stage, because we kind of put it out there. That's what it was. And last year it was incredible. I mean, there was no room for any. We have Christmas trees and toys and candy canes and like bicycles. It's nuts. And this year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the best one yet. And there's a really great feeling at the end of the night when the Marines come up and they've got the Toys for Tots boxes, and we sit there and we put these giant boxes filled with toys onto the they come pick them up. And I think last year we had 8 or 10 of them, and this year I hope we can double that. So it's a good feeling, man, for folks in the Carolinas, kids in the Carolinas for the holidays, man. There's nothing better. And then the Saturday night we're going to beat Clemson. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we got to let you run here in a second, so I got to get Flint in for final thoughts on this sucker. But first of all, looking forward to being there tonight. You can head to PatrickDavisMusic.com to purchase your tickets. Make sure you bring a toy. That's what it's all about. So why he does this. And the VIP hang, if you're a VIP guy or gal, I believe starts at 6:30ish, right? And then doors at 8.
Yeah, 6:37. Just show up. Doors are 8. And then 8:30 is the showtime. And and get ready for for the game tomorrow. Big Old Cock Beamer version's out now. You can get it on Spotify, Apple Music. The lyric videos up. We crushing lyric videos and doing great. I actually had to upload it. My kid that made the lyric video for me. Somebody. You'll like this story. I'll tell you really quick to get to Flint. He goes. I get a comment and it says CAPTIAL. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? It's a question mark. And then I watched the video. I was like, son of a bitch. I hadn't paid attention to the video. He had spelled capital wrong. And I was like, well, I've got like 7,000 people that saw this one. This is coming down. I'm not having a video out there. So you get a Clemson fan, gets a hold of that shit. They're going to put it out there. This stupid bastard can't even spell. So the new one's got about 8. I put it up last night at 2 in the morning. I figured that out. I was like, you got fucking shit. So anyway, so there's y'all go watch the Big Old Cock video. I need more views, so pump that sucker up. I just lost about 7,000. So
we'll get it back out for you. I didn't even notice that kid can't even read.
No, nobody did. It goes by so fast. I was like, "What you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
So it was funny. So we got it, but yeah, it's a good weekend, man. And you guys, Gamecock's gonna win. think it's going to be 30, 31, 28, 29.
Whoa.
It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a great game. I'll see y'all tonight. Thanks, boys, for having me. And
hey,
go Cox.
Before we let you go, you got one more game to pick. One more game.
Go ahead.
You got Lower State Championship tonight. Camden and Dillon. Who wins?
Man, Dillon is actually, I found out Dillon is ranked higher than Camden, but it's at home. So my Camden Bulldogs, man, you understand, I played football for Camden High School. I was one defensive end. I weighed 160 pounds. I was about 5'10". The other defensive end was the guy named Vonnie Holiday. Played in NFL for 14 years. They used to walk up to the line of scrimmage. Those three of us that rotated on the other defensive end, they'd walk up to the line of scrimmage, and they would change the play, and we'd see it happen. They'd be look over, and Vonnie would be on the other defensive end. They go, "We're gonna run this way." So, anyways, Camden's winning tonight. Camden's gonna win. We got a good defense, and I think it's probably gonna be it won't be a high scoring game, but like 16-13 or something like that. But Camden's gonna win. They're going to state championship. It's gonna be a good weekend for all this Camden, South Carolina boys. So, but anyway, boys, I'm going to Hall, so gotta have lunch.
Nice.
You got it. I'll see you. I'll see you tonight.
See ya.
All right, bye guys. Bye.
Thank you. There you go, Patrick Davis on Twitter at PD Music. Head to YouTube. You can watch the new lyric video, PatrickDavisMusic.com, to purchase tickets for tonight's Toys for Tots show. He's got the Gamecocks winning it, and today he's got the new Big Old Cock version out, starring head coach Shane Beamer. So make sure you get that in your phones as you hit the road for the capital city as he sings in the show. 11.5 is the spread. Carolina and Clemson. The over-under sits at 43. Patrick's got a few more points in this game. And now we'll talk to Michael Flint about what he thinks and how many points he thinks might get scored in the ball game tomorrow, the final 10 or so minutes of the Big Gamecock Preview Show with the one and only and very disease-free former wide receiver at South Carolina, Michael Flint. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. Knowing you are sleeping in. What's up, man? How was yesterday with the family?
It was good, man. Ate a lot, played a lot. It was a good day. We had a good time. Everybody had fun, had some family in town, and it was a good time.
It's always a good time with the Flint family. We know that. Michael is just one whale of a time. You can find him at singleredheads.com. All right. All right, Mike, here we go. It's the Palmetto Bowl. 8-3 Clemson, 6-5 South Carolina. Tigers defense, no matter how much they've struggled this year, this defense has been there all year long. They've been incredibly solid. Carolina's going to have to find a way to move the football against them. How do they do it?
Yeah, the defense, I think Clemson's defense has been really strong all year long, despite some of the struggles they've had offensively. Defense has kept them in a lot of games and won them a lot of games as well. I think, one thing trying to do, with that defense is, try to catch them over pursuing with, misdirection, counter plays, things of that nature to try and catch those guys over pursuing because they play so fast and they play downhill. And so that's, the one big thing I think is trying to catch those guys in over pursuit in a lot of ways. But a lot of it is, offensively, we got to keep them. We got to stay out of those, long down and distance type situations where Venables a lot of times will just pin their ears back and go. And as you saw against Missouri, we really struggle with teams that bring a lot of pressure. And that's one thing that we, must do is stay out of a lot of situations where Clemson's able just to kind of pin their ears back and go and allow Venables to bring pressure on us. So that is, a couple of things that we, must do or we won't have much of a chance because you saw against Missouri, it took us a while to kind of figure that out and how to adapt to the blitzes, who, responsibilities, who's picking up who and things of that nature.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, look, as much as we know that Carolina's going to have to run the football, Jason Brown is going to have to throw the football as well. This is going to have to truly be a balanced attack and a successful balanced attack in order to have a chance to win the football game. But he's made some nice throws in the last few weeks that at least lead me to believe he's becoming more comfortable back there as the lead signal caller for Carolina football. What have you seen in his development that could spell a good evening against a top-ranked Tigers D tomorrow?
Well, I think what you've seen week after week and the growth and the progression of how far he's come along. I think, the game started to slow down for him a little bit. He's able to pick up, tendencies, able to pick up, different things that defenses are doing. One example is, I think the first couple games, instead of stepping up into the pocket, he tried to, pull that spin and try to get outside the pocket and outflank the defense, and really ends up just throwing it out of bounds. And, you got, scramble drill per se. But, against Auburn, I was impressed with, him working on his footwork of stepping up into the pocket and not just abandoning the pocket when pressure comes, but feel the pressure, step up, slide one way or another, and then deliver the football. And that was, that's one thing that I've been impressed with him by. He's been able to pick up on things and learn things, quickly in this short amount of time that he's been the starting quarterback. But there's no doubt about it, we're going to have to be able to have not only a balanced attack, but have a lot of success throwing the football, with that type of defense Clemson plays. But Clemson's secondary has been a little bit susceptible and vulnerable against the pass. So, I'm interested to see the, kind of how we game plan and scheme against that secondary and the type of routes we use, how we utilize Josh Vann and Jaheim Bell, because I think those are two guys that are going to have to really have big games for us to have any success.
Michael Flint, former wide receiver at Carolina. True, and that's absolutely true. So will Kevin Harris and Zaquandre White. They're gonna have to affect this thing somehow, some way. But they're different runners, Mike. Clemson's a very aggressive, as you mentioned, downhill type defense. So what running style is better against that?
I think it really just depends. I think both Zaquandre White and Kevin Harris's running style is they offset each other really well, and they complement each other really well. I think you've seen what Kevin Harris can do, running downhill. It's very hard to bring him down. But Zaquandre White is a one cut and go kind of guy, and it doesn't take, the hole doesn't have to be there long. It's just he gets the ball, makes that cut, and gets upfield. And so it's both their styles they play well off each other. I've seen times, I think against Auburn, there was some short yardage situations for first downs, and Kevin Harris was met at the line of scrimmage and was able to get that extra yard or two, give us the first down and keep the chains moving. And that's going to be, huge in what we need against Clemson. But I think it's not just that power running style, but how we use those guys. I think it's going to be big for Zaquandre White out the backfield in the passing game. I think he's going to play a huge factor in exactly like how we did against Auburn. It was just, catching the ball out the backfield on screens, getting him outside the tackle box, and just getting the ball in his hand any which way we can.
Mike, on the flip side of the football, DJ Uiagalelei only completes 54% of his passes on the road this year in true road games. He's only thrown 3 touchdowns, but he has thrown 5 picks and just 640 yards. Carolina's going to need to be opportunistic. They lead the SEC in interceptions, and they're 5th in the country. And they're also lead the league, and they're also 5th. They also lead the SEC, and they're also 5th in the country in turnovers gained with 23. Clemson has turned it over 17 times this year. They've lost 8 fumbles. They've also fumbled it 22 times. So they've gotten 14 fumbles back, Mike. What's important here? Tigers have seemingly gotten their running game together. I mean, Wake Forest's defense isn't very good, but they did run for over 300 yards. I don't care who you're playing against. That is good. Carolina struggled to stop the run this year, but DJ Uiagalelei has struggled on the road. So what does that look like?
I think the biggest thing is for us, for Carolina defensively, is to be good against the run. I think you've seen when Clemson has struggled to run the ball, that DJ is not as effective of a passer when he's put in more obvious passing situations. He's been, the games I've seen, he hasn't been very accurate, whether that's deep balls or short balls. He hasn't been very accurate. I think if you can get pressure on him and kind of rattle him a little bit, it's when he tends to get very inaccurate and put the ball in jeopardy and turnover situations. So I think most importantly, it's something we haven't been great at all year, but stopping the run, or at least slowing down the run, forcing Clemson into these obvious passing situations. Because once Clemson gets more one-dimensional, that's where they tend to struggle a whole lot more than not. So I think for us, most importantly, slowing down the run, stopping the run, putting them in obvious passing situations, and then just putting pressure on DJ as well, and getting to the quarterback, collapsing the pocket, making him feel uncomfortable. Because I think when he doesn't have that clean pocket, when he's not able to take his steps, go through his progressions, and then get rid of the football, he tends to struggle. And I don't know if it's, being able to process the play with everything that's going on, or being, feeling the pressure or seeing the pressure, whatever it is. But it's whenever Clemson, whenever they get that run, they can't quite get the run game going is when they struggle. So I think that's going to be the most important thing for us on Saturday.
Describe quickly the atmosphere you expect to see tomorrow night.
It's going to be electric, loud, crazy, wild, everything. I think being a night game, I think Carolina's, with South Carolina starting to play a lot better than we have earlier in the year. I think fans are going to show up. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a lot of liquid consumption that I think will have everybody fired up and ready to go. I think it's the general feel around this program right now over the course of the last few games just has really kind of sparked the fan base. And I think that win last week was huge. And I think it's going to be a very loud and electric atmosphere on Saturday night.
Gamecocks are 5-1 inside of Williams-Brice Stadium in Shane Beamer's first season as head coach. Tomorrow night, 47 degrees at kickoff at 7:30. By the end of the game, expected to be between 41 and 43, somewhere in there. We'll just call that a good 42.
Cold.
Yeah, we'll call that cold. Michael, your final thoughts and prediction. Carolina's 11.5-point dog in the game. The over-under's at 43. That hasn't mattered before this year. What do you think, and how much does it matter tomorrow night? Who wins?
Yeah, we've been an underdog in a lot of games we've played this year, specifically Florida, the last few weeks, Auburn. And we've come out, we've done a lot of good things. I think when we play well defensively, we don't have to really force Jason Brown to make a lot of plays. I mean, I think last week he was 10 of 15. So it wasn't like we were asking him to throw the ball 25 to 30 times and really putting a lot of pressure and stress on him. I think letting our playmakers make plays. I think the offense has done some really good things over the course of the last few weeks and kind of helping Jason Brown get comfortable. I think this has to be the game where he really comes out and shines and has to make plays for us to have a shot. There's a lot of things have been happening in Williams-Brice over the course of the last few weeks and at night. And, I think this is a shot that Carolina has, to pull this one out. I really think that they have the personnel and that it's going to take. So I think South Carolina's got a very good shot at winning this football game. And I think they come out on top. Score?
Low scoring?
Yeah, I think it's tough. We haven't done a whole lot of scoring. I think, when we've scored a lot of points defensively, we've been really, really good. I think I'm going to go South Carolina. I'm going to go 28-24 Gamecock.
Wow. I hope you're right. You and JC Shurburtt thus far are fairly optimistic. We'll let you run on that note, Michael. But I'll see you in Columbia. Thank you for everything you've done for us this year as part of the Big Gamecock Preview Show. You've done an outstanding job. One more to go in bowl season, and we'll see where that takes us here in the next few days. Thanks, brother.
Hey, sounds good, fellas. I've enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one.
See you, man.
There you go. Michael Flint, former wide receiver at South Carolina. As we are set to head off to our rivalry weekend and Black Friday. Darren, your final thoughts on this one, Carolina and Clemson.
I don't think it'll surprise anyone. I'm going Clemson. I do think what's been said here and how it's been broken down is all true. I could be very wrong in what I'm saying here. I do expect Clemson to be able to run the football. I think they've shown that they're improving in that capacity. If they can do that, they take pressure off DJ. And I don't expect Carolina to be able to run the football. And if they're not running the football, Jason Brown's under heat all day. I think, look, it can go the other way. Of course it can. It's football. Anything can happen. I think Clemson wins. I think Clemson covers. I think what Paul put up there a little while ago, 34-9, I'm in that general range. I'm going 30-10, 30-13 in that range.
Okay, there you go. For those that don't like that, Darren was way wrong last weekend against Auburn for South Carolina. Carolina has played remarkably well at home this year, and I think because of that, tomorrow night, it won't be Carolina that actually won the game until the end. It'll be Clemson that lost it early. They will make enough mistakes where South Carolina will be able to capitalize. I think they break this streak tomorrow night. I've thought it all week long, and I've tried to be so hard-headed in the other direction because I want to be fair to this pick here. But I see it somehow, some way falling in favor of South Carolina, where they're outgained again by their opponent, but they're not out-turnovered. Gamecocks get a win, a big win, and Shane Beamer and Carolina are somewhere in Florida for bowl season. And what we thought was a lost cause only 5 or 6 weeks ago has turned into a brilliant turnaround under the first-year head coach. Gamecocks win tomorrow night, 24-21 against Clemson.
And does Shane Beamer get SEC Coach of the Year after winning?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll say this. I think if Carolina wins, Beamer is the SEC Coach of the Year.
I wouldn't disagree. I think he is, but I don't think he'll win it. Thanks to Patrick Davis. Yeah, it'll be close. Thanks to Patrick Davis, J.C. Shurburtt, and Michael Flint, and all of you. Thanks to Darren Goldwater, as always. Have a fabulous Black Friday. And we look forward to returning at noon on Monday. Rivalry weekend. Everybody enjoy Clemson and South Carolina, or your favorite game. Maybe at the Dog and Duck, where they'll be showing them all weekend long. For Darren, I'm Jamie. The Big Gamecock Preview Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice, served by Whiskey Jam. JB and Goldwater returns on Monday, and we'll see you then.